it's me and welcome back to Finding Denise. Back again with a hoodie. So this video is clearly going to be about how I got into Korean culture. Now I say culture instead of just saying K-pop or dramas like that because I'm into multiple aspects of the culture. So culture. Anyway, okay, so it's a weird, funny story how I got into Korean culture. And it's hilarious to me because it all started off with YouTube in a Japanese movie. So I was on YouTube. I'm already open-minded and I'm always out during that time in like 2014. I was always on YouTube watching random stuff. And this video popped up and I was like, yeah, why not? It had subtitles. I didn't mind subtitles. I mean, I was a bit slow and I paused it because I was like, okay, I don't get it. I have to reread it because I wasn't used to like watching and reading at the same time. But now I'm such a pro at it that I don't even realize that I'm doing it because it became my norm. Like, it's so bad now that even when I'm on Netflix and I'm watching a fully English show, I'm just like, where's the subtitles? It feels empty if I don't see subtitles, although I can fully understand everything that's being said. I'm just like, it doesn't feel right anymore. It feels wrong if there's not subtitles at the bottom, even if it's a fully English show or movie. I'm just like, something's missing. So yeah, but back to where I was. I'm gonna try not to skip around too much. But I stumbled upon a show called Battle Royale on YouTube. Now I was watching it, I was just like, this is so weird and funny and messed up at the same time. Because Battle Royale is basically, it's a Japanese, is it a drama? No, I think it's a movie where they take a classroom full of like, okay, they say, I think they were middle schoolers, but they could be high schoolers because sometimes it's slightly different from how American defines grade years versus how other countries do. So I'm just like, I never know what grade people really are in because it's different from American schooling. It throws me off a bit. But they took a group of classmates, put them on this island and go kill each other. Only one can survive. Now these kids are friends with each other. They have crushes on people. So it's crazy. So you just got people killing each other. And like the person who set us up, it's like the way he just kept coming back to life when somebody tried to kill him. It was just hilarious and messed up, but it was hilarious at the same time. And I was just like, this is some weird stuff. I have never seen anything like this before. The humor in it was so different from what I was used to that it threw me off. And I was just like, this is too different. But I didn't stop there. I just went on to next. So the next thing that popped up was this movie called Jenny Juno. Now it's two of them out there. One of them is not. It's very weird or sexual. Because I was like, I looked it up and one popped up and I was just like, that's not what I watched. But I watched it and I was so confused and intrigued. I was like, it's so different for what I just watched. Now back then I couldn't tell the difference. I just knew something was different, but I didn't know what it was. Like Jenny Juno, the way it was centered, it was like a culture shock. Like they were shy to kiss in public. Like they hid the fact that they were kissing in public. They kissed like behind flowers instead of like, and then everyone was looking at them weird and I was like, okay, they're just kissing. But they were also middle schoolers. So the theme is basically they decide that, I think they were either on break or they skipped school. It was like that. And then they end up having sexual intercourse and she gets pregnant, but they don't fully understand what happened or how it happened, honestly, because they didn't use protection. And then they show a class when they're talking about it and he's just scratching his head like, oh, that's what happened. So yeah, but like throughout their relationship you just see the social differences from America. I was just like, okay, another teen pregnancy. My mom was a teen mom, my grandma was a teen mom. Me and my sister broke the cycle. But yeah, I was used to seeing teen moms, so I was just like, okay. But in the movie, I was confused because her parents were not like that. They were like, oh, I'm gonna ship you off to America and when you have your baby, just give it to your sister so that she can say she had twins, because her sister was pregnant too. Instead of just letting her have her baby and, you know, taking care of the baby. She was trying to ship her off without the boy, like, without her boyfriend knowing. They separated them once they found out. But it was just so, that was shocking to me. I was just like, what do you mean ship her off just because she's pregnant? I didn't understand it. I was just like, this is weird. They're not kissing in public. They have to get shipped off. Like, this is crazy. They was talking about marriage just because she was pregnant. Like, it was a cultural shock at its best. And I was like, you know what? These two movies seem so different. I don't get it. So I looked them up. And then I was like, oh, that's why it was different. Even the language was different. I was like, one was Japanese and one was Korean. But then I just kept going. Whatever was recommended next, I kept watching. And then like My Little Bride, it was so weird. They secretly got married. He was a college student and she was still in high school. But their parents agreed to marry them off when they got older anyway. It was like an agreement with the grandparents before they were even born. Because like the grandparents both have boys, so then it went down to them. So it was crazy, but I love that. My Little Bride, that's my show. That junk is hilarious and cute and strange at the same time. But after that, it just kept going, and I somehow ended up on Netflix. And I was just like, okay, I typed in Korean shows, because by then I watched so many movies that I couldn't find any more free movies on YouTube. And I was just like, no. They were all so different and good and weird, and I was learning more and more about the society. I was just like, this is so weird. I can't believe it's so different. It was intriguing to me. So then after that, I looked it up, and then that's when I came into dramas. So on Netflix, the first Korean drama that I ever watched was Boys Over Flowers. And that just opened up so many other doors to the culture, because then I was looking at different foods. Once I got into more dramas, the language, I started to learn way more phrases than what I did in like the movies. I wasn't really paying attention to the language that much when I was into the movies. I was just simply trying to make sure I understood the subtitles and stuff. But when I got into the dramas, I was better at it, and I paid attention to more stuff in it while enjoying it. So I'm just like, that's when I started going around saying yeah, like, because it was just funny to me how they yelled and stuff and how they reacted. And my favorite phrase is like when they asked them, do you want to die? And I used to think they were going to kill him. I'm just like, oh my god, he's going to kill her. Like, I didn't know what it meant behind it and how it's just like a joking thing. It's not like a literal thing. But so I got more fascinated with the language. And even in college, because when I got into Korean stuff, I was a college student. It was my second year and third year of college. So I joined a little program that they had, and I started to learn the language. Then they start cooking for us, and I was just like, bet the food was so good and different. I was just like, never tasted something like that before. So by then I'm like, I'm watching more dramas. But because Boys Over Flowers was my first drama, I always went back to it. And then when I went back to it, I realized like I'm in love with the music in this drama. It's better to me than the dramas that I've heard in other shows. Like that, the music actually caught my attention a lot. I was always singing Almost Paradise. That was my song. But then, like, I fell in love with one of their voices, and then I tracked it back to who it was. But the crazy part is, back then, like, it was harder to research because it wasn't like today. It wasn't like a trend. So it wasn't that much access to stuff. So it was harder for me to find a group. Like when I looked up, I searched a song. I know the name of the song, and it's making me mad that I forgot the name of the song. Anyway, it was a SHINee song, but I searched it up and I couldn't find, nothing popped up when I searched it up, and I was just like, I'm never gonna find this group. I don't know why it was so hard back then, or maybe I was slow, I don't know. But I end up watching more dramas, and then I end up finding Minho, and I end up like, oh, I want to see more stuff about him because I like the way he acted. So I start watching more movies with him in it, and then it said K-pop boy band, and I was like, they got boy bands? And I looked it up, and then I started going through all their songs and getting to know the members, and the song popped up. I said, this is the song. I was so excited. I was like, this is the group. And then it was weird because like Minho became my favorite, but then I realized the person whose voice I fell in love with and the person who originally that I wanted to look into was Kim Jong-hyun. Like because of him, I wanted to hear their music. I got into the music more, and then like I ended up finding them, and then I got into 2PM a little bit, but I never became a 2PM stan. But that's how I got into K-pop. It was because of Boys Over Flowers. So I went from movies to dramas to language to foods, and then like K-pop, and that led me going to Korean variety shows as well. So I started to see this different aspect, and then I started to see how they joke around and play around, and I just learned their humor. Now some of their humor is not humor to others. Like people will be like, oh, it's okay, and I just be like, that is not okay. Like some of them comedians needed to get hit by a truck. I'm not gonna hold you up. Like they be on some weird stuff, and it's not okay. But that's probably why they didn't make it that far. Like some of them, you don't see them on TV a lot anymore. They were problematic, but I got into them. But yeah, next thing I know, I was just like, I got into historical stuff. I started researching more. I'm like, I can't wait to see the palaces. I'm just excited when I go. But that's how I got into Korean stuff. It all started with a Japanese movie, and that's very ironic considering their relationship. But yeah. But I hope to continue to learn more and more about Korea. Although lately I felt like I have been stepping back, which is weird too. But I'm still into K-pop, but it's just not as good as it used to be. Or it's probably because I lost my favorite member, the person that got me into K-pop. May he rest in peace. But yeah, I don't know. It has not been the same for me. And I do watch dramas, but some of the dramas started to feel like the same. But recently, some stuff like when when some stuff like pops up and it's different, I do watch it. Like Itaewon Class, when that came out, I was like, I'm going to watch that because that was different. It's Okay Not to Be Okay, I love that drama. But like, yeah, I occasionally still watch it, but lately I've been more into Thai BLs, honestly. But I'll do another video explaining how I got into Thai BLs. Like, I don't know, I feel like everything's connected. Me liking One Direction, I was just like, oh, another boy band, and I was okay with jumping into SHINee easily because I was already into the culture and I was already into a boy band. And then because of K-pop, I somehow ended up in BL. It's just weird how everything is connected. But yeah, that's all, folks. Ew. Bye.